Imagine the worst turn-based game you can, with horrible combat, terrible animations, ridiculous character models, abhorrent narrative, and that is about as far from Etheria Restart as you can get, because this game is arguably one of the most fun I have played in all of 2024. Not only are the characters beautiful, but the combat is very fun with unique idle character animations for every ability. The story is really good, the world exploration was incredibly engaging, and Gacha, to the surprise of many of us, was very free-to-play friendly. Everything was neatly organized into one little package for easy consumption, but don't let me sit here telling you this. Here, let me show you it. Hey, my name is Stix and welcome back to the worst gacha ever, a video series where I discuss a gacha and tell you guys what I thought in explicit detail as we attempt to find the worst gacha ever. If this is your first time here, consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that little bell notification. That way you remain up to date with every single thing that I post, and I post every Sunday. Do not miss out. Now pull out your Dorito bag, go grab a vanilla Coke, and let's get talking. Note, I did stream this, so you are going to see a combination of both stream footage and non-stream footage captured after the fact. You're introduced to the game via cinematic, which slowly explains the world, which honestly looked a little messed up, so I guess that is an accurate portrayal. You can select between a male and a female protagonist. I went with the female because she was cuter than the male. He looked like your everyday basic Barry. He doesn't want to save the world. He'd rather be in a dark room watching Amaranth. You can tell. He has absolutely no soul. After selecting your character, you find yourself in this unusual, distorted world. The virtual world, for all intents and purposes, which we learn over time. Immediately upon entering this world, I did notice how incredibly fluid character animations were. This is a game in beta testing, and not only do characters already look better than characters from Neverness to Everness as an example here, but they move better. These animations were flawless, right out of a AAA budget game. I was taken aback purely due to the fact that I just did not anticipate it. Having covered as many test phases as I have, this was entirely unexpected, but it set the foundation of the game, a high quality turn-based RPG that just never disappointed. You're slowly introduced to features over the course of the game's first hour. It doesn't overwhelm you, it teaches you the basics of combat. You slowly move around the world, which is instanced, but has quite a bit of freedom. It's linear, but you can take cover behind any physical object and lay in wait for unsuspecting enemies, before ambushing them and gaining the advantage in combat. All enemies walk around, meaning in some instances you may be required to wait for them to get close enough to engage, or you can just brute force it. All characters and enemies have their own elemental affinities. Water beats fire, fire beats grass, grass beats water, light and dark beat each other interchangeably. The Pokemon Trinity of elements. When attacking enemies with an elemental advantage, you'll deal additional damage, have increased crit rate. However, when facing an enemy at an elemental disadvantage, the penalties are even greater. 30% decreased crit rate, 50% decreased effect accuracy, 15% damage reduction. God damn! This means that a little bit of planning is necessary when it comes to team composition, or if you're like me, you can just YOLO in there with whoever your highest rarity units or your hottest waifus are. Waifus over meta, right? What's a little bit of extra damage over a little bit of extra sexy? Exactly. Enemies genuinely look really sick in this game. Like, look at this dude here. He's the very first area boss. Characters have individual class archetypes. However, when viewing each character's respective profiles, it notes them all as unreleased. We can speculate based off of how they function in battle that there are various types of DPS, ranged melee, physical and magic, supports and healers, due to the healing spells that some of my heroes have, and tanks. Speaking of, we cannot go any further without investigating some of these characters, like Doki Doki, Hellkid. This dude looks badass. Messiah, who has a body right out of Love and Deep Space. Shada, arguably one of the best looking characters in this game. Leon, who you get for free, absolutely free, dude. Tiamat, who I cannot for the life of me stop replaying the intro of. I'm not entirely sure why that is. I don't know, there's just something totally entrancing about her. Spin around. Langlois. The SSR characters are not the only incredible looking ones though. Check out some of these SR heroes. Oboro, this game's Raiden Shogun. Tsutomu, probably better looking than most SSR husbandos. Dinah, an absolute freaking goddess. And Valerian, who... my god, she's just perfection. Seriously, a whole lot of effort went into these characters, but it isn't even the characters themselves. Let me show you. After navigating to your workstation, you'll be able to level your characters, equip them with ether modules, which are essentially artifacts from Genshin or echoes from Wuthering Waves, or upgrade their skills via prowess. And if you didn't quite catch that, every individual window has their own intro, their own idle animation associated with them. This is a level of attention to detail that you rarely see in video games overall, especially in gacha games. As an additive to this, every single ability in combat features their own unique idle animation. Combat is turn-based. You select from one of 3 abilities, a weaker one with a shorter cooldown, a moderate powered one with a longer cooldown, and an ultimate ability with a significant cooldown. After selecting an ability, you select an enemy or an ally, depending on whether this is an attack or a buff or a heal. While deciding on a target, you'll notice that every ability possesses their own unique idle animation, which just blew my mind. I genuinely have not seen a game that has put this much effort into idle animations before. It is subtle. Many people are gonna miss it, but Papa Stix misses absolutely nothing when it comes to waifus or their animations. Abilities look really good, the character animations look really good, and the ultimate abilities look phenomenal. I cannot stress enough how high quality this game feels, and I hate to reiterate it as often as I have, but this game is only in beta. There is one thing that I'm on the fence about though. Upgrading characters. Leveling characters is easy. You use XP books like you would in any game. However, each rarity of hero levels at a different rate, a different pace. R units require less XP than an SR unit, and SR units require less XP than an SSR unit. But due to the difference in level and XP acquisition, different rarity units also differ drastically in terms of power, which is something that I learned after several hours of playing. I was wondering why my level 1 SSR unit was not only one-shotting enemies that my SR units required 2 to 3 shots to kill, but why my level 1 SSR units were also taking negligible damage from enemies dozens of levels above them. This definitely sets a bad precedent, as it means that max rarity units are absolutely necessary and wholly better than their lower rarity competition, trivializing both units and content. But at the same time, it makes every SSR unit that you acquire feel powerful, like they deserve the rarity classification, bringing me back to games like Fire Emblem, where upgraded units were always drastically more powerful than anyone else. I don't necessarily like it, but at the same time, I don't really hate it. Ether modules gear is easy to acquire. You can grind for it, and upgrading requires coins you earn in game. Upgrading your skills definitely takes longer, as the materials you require are significantly more difficult to acquire, although they also provide a substantial benefit. Case in point, Shada Skill 1. At the first upgrade, it provides a plus 25 attack boost, level 2 a plus 40 attack boost, level 3 a plus 5% attack boost, and they continue to scale up to 12 times, with materials increasing in rarity and difficulty as the levels increase. You also possess shells, which are little pets that you can grind for and equip like gear. These little guys provide a variety of different benefits and also have their own individual separate stats and skills. Navigating back to the Well, okay, I guess this is the perfect time to discuss the home screen. The protagonist that you choose sits on a relatively comfortable looking couch. Like, dude, who needs that many cushions? Do I only have 2 pairs of clothes? A shirt, pants, and a dress? Well, I mean, I guess disregarding what I'm wearing right now. This is a very weird room. There's a mirror over there, which allows you to change outfits. There are several outfits already implemented in-game, some of which are very cute. A little impractical given it's snowing outside. There are normal wear, combat wear, and gear for your robot Paimon. I have several spatulas, 2 pans, and a boiling pot, along with a kettle, a bunch of boxes scattered around the room, books lying around, the ether link. Dude, I am really messy. I just want to point that out. The ether link, which we haven't talked about yet, but will shortly. Paimon, but much less annoying. Really advanced computers, really old-fashioned TV. I mean, my God, you can see the antennas on that. A small portable fan. Do we not have air conditioning? Is there no liquid cooling system for the PCs? Yikes. Let's get back to the Etherlink. This game features a dive system, allowing you to connect to the Etherlink and dive into various virtual worlds. The main quest, which gives you a single mission rather than dozens and has you take your time slowly exploring a variety of different areas, running, grappling, teleporting, engaging enemies, progressing through the main narrative, which is really freaking good. These chapters vary in length, but seem to be approximately an hour each. Long enough to have a purpose, but short enough where things don't get boring or repetitious. There are treasure chests to locate, puzzles to solve. It's honestly a very fun game mode and allows you to have a manual impact and interaction with the world, something the majority of gacha games just don't. There are challenge modes. This is where you grind everything unrelated to the story. Ether modules, shells, XP, advancement materials. Unfortunately, at present at least, there is no quick sweep feature, making you slowly auto your way through battles one by one, but you can queue multiple in succession and close out of the battle, allowing it to go on in the background, so it isn't all bad. The Union, which is the guild feature, since this was a beta test, I couldn't engage in any of the guild or co-op content really, but I never do, even in games that I play every day like Nikke. And the Arena, which unfortunately I never got far enough through the game due to my own obligations outside of it to really unlock. Now let's talk the gacha, because unreasonably predatory gacha can ruin any game, regardless of how good it is otherwise. When beginning the game, you're given access to a first summon banner that is replaced after 40 summons, or as soon as you obtain the SSR character of your choice. I chose Shada, and for the first time in history, I got a double. I'll let you guys experience my joy alongside me. Okay, let's see what I got. Dude, I got her at 30? Fuck yes! I would be so excited if this weren't a beta test. Because you guys know with 100% certainty that I'm not gonna win it in the official release of the game. They're not gonna get her on full release. Exactly. It doesn't matter if I get them in the beta. They like to lull me into this false sense of security. Fuck you! Oh! The amount of frustration I feel right now is unrivaled, because I know when I play this at launch, I will not get one copy of her. I will get 0. If only this were live, as opposed to a beta test. After the first summon banner, you're presented with the normal banner system where you pull up to 100 times before being rewarded with a limited banner character on display. I'm sure you didn't quite catch that. Pity is 100. Higher than in Genshin Impact, higher than in Wuthering Waves, but there is no 50-50. Once you hit 100 pulls, you attain the character. There's no chance. It is a guarantee. I strongly prefer this significantly over 90 with a 50-50 that Genshin has, or even 80 with a 50-50 that Wuwa has. Being guaranteed a limited banner character within 100 pulls is so much more rewarding and satisfying, because you know you'll receive them. There is no luck, there is no chance involved whatsoever. There is the permanent summon, which guarantees an SR unit every 10 summons, and the extreme summon, which has specific characters available. No weapon summons. Concerning the in-game shop, and this is where even more free-to-play friendliness comes into play, there are 2 areas of note. The Anima shop. Anima are your characters. You can buy characters or dupes for characters in-game with Anima crystal points. These, from what I could tell, are earnable. And the Ether module shop, which allows you to purchase higher rarity, more powerful Ether modules gear with Ether module essence, also earned in-game. The devs have provided so many unique ways of earning pulls, characters, and gear that I genuinely do not know how they plan on earning any money. They're almost too generous. Not that that's a bad thing for us. Etheria Restart is by far one of the most engaging, entertaining, highest quality new gacha games that I've played all year. Now let's go ahead and break down my rating. Content, 7 out of 10. There's plenty to do, maybe not enough to warrant playing for extended periods every day, but enough where you'll probably enjoy no-lifing it for a month. Difficulty, 5 out of 10. This is probably the only issue that I encountered. I didn't have any difficulty at any point, but I'm sure that changes the further you get through the game. Free-to-play friendliness, 10 out of 10. Guaranteed characters within 100 pulls, no 50-50, earnable characters, earnable dupes, and earnable gear. My god, why don't more games adopt this system? Alright, money. Gameplay, 8 out of 10. Animations were incredibly fluid, combat effects were fantastic, environmental interactions were great, combat was a ton of fun. I had very little in terms of complaints. Graphics, 8 out of 10. I loved the graphical style, the entire game, every single thing, the characters, the abilities, the world. I genuinely loved every bit of it. Sound, 6 out of 10. The music in this game was pretty decent. Certain scenes had crazy music that really complemented the scene, but otherwise it was pretty chill. Story 7 out of 10. I actually really liked the story. I thought that it was well executed, wasn't convoluted like most gacha games are, and wasn't filled with too much pointless exposition. Voice acting 8 out of 10. There was no English dub, but the Japanese dub was fantastic, as they always are. World 6 out of 10. I think the world looks good. Being able to climb, grapple, teleport around, interact with, and engage was very freeing, and being able to find clues, hidden chests, things that make the world feel more alive. Fun, 9 out of 10. I had an absolute blast playing. The only area that I was bored was when re-clearing stages. That took far too long, and I genuinely hope they addressed this because it was terrible, and the only reason the fun factor was not out of 10. Overall, I'd give this 74 generous devs out of 100 greedy devs, or 7.4 out of 10. This was arguably one of the best games I've played all year, and I cannot wait for it to release so I can play more of it. Hey you, where do you think you're going? Don't you close out of this tab. I didn't give you permission to do that. Sit your ass back down. Click one of the 2 videos that are gonna be on screen in just a moment and keep watching my content. Keep enjoying my content.